His altar. May the Lord interpret his words to us in Jesus' name. I had an encounter with a man. You know, our fingers are not equal. This man has only a plot of land, just one. And another person went and took over that plot of land. And he started farming on it. He got home, he wanted to report to the elders. The elders said, that man is too fetish. Don't go near him. He can kill you. So the man became afraid and came to me. Pastor, what shall I do? This is what has happened. Number one, I don't even have the money to develop the land. I said, but is the land yours? He said, yes. The land belonged to him. And he has been warned not to go near that man because the man is too fetish. I said, all right. Your land that God has given to you, someone has taken it over. And you should not ask for your land because the man is too fetish. Now, well, we are going to report the case to God. And so I told him, we are going to pray. We waited on the Lord for 7 days. We stood up in the night to pray. On the 7th day he came, I laid my hands on him and I prayed. Tomorrow, in the morning, go to that land. Go and take your land back. So the man went to the land and saw that farmer. Not the owner of the land now, that farmer, the fetish man on the land. So the original owner now greeted. How are you? He said, I'm fine. Why are you here? I'm here because of you. What is it? That land you are farming on is not your land. And so what? And so I have come to tell you to leave that land. You said what? I said you should leave that land. It is not yours. I have come to take over. You say I should leave? Yes. Leave now. Right? If you say I should leave now, I will leave. So he carried his hoe, got his dress on where he kept it, and left. And he never went back to that land. Supposing that man did not have the courage to go there, what will have happened? Courage to act. The story that we have today is about Gideon. We have started with the story. Gideon had an encounter with the angel. And he offered a sacrifice. I told you that sacrifice was the food that is prepared for someone who is greater than that person and he is visiting. And the angel had disappeared. Now Gideon realized that, one thing is the angel came to AGGREY where the idol was placed. In other words, spiritually, the idol has now been dispossessed of this power and position. The angel of the Lord has now taken over. And the idol could not even act. The idol did not even know anything. All that was happening when Gideon even went to make the sacrifice, the idol was just there. There was a man we call Soja Jumata in Lagos. It's a statue of an unknown soldier. They are found in many places. Unknown soldier will just be there, holding his gun, whether in the rain or in the sun. And so the idol was there until there was a dispossession of his power, if at all he had one. And the Spirit of God has now taken over through that angel. The idol was there. So he took over. And one funny thing is that AGGREY has an interesting name. Ab means father or ancestor. Abi, my father. Ezra is help. So my father is helper, or my father helps. And so the land that was given to an idol where people will come and worship took possession of the environment, took hold of the family, and never allowed them to grow, to develop. We are just seeing now that the man who said he was the smallest has 10 servants. And yet, instead of him to go and beat his corn at the threshold, he went to where they were pressing wine because he was afraid. Now, the angel came and said, Gideon, spiritually you have taken over this place. Right now, this idol must be uprooted. Uprooted. Use the bullock of your father. Uproot it, kill the second bullock and offer a sacrifice. This thing is just there. It has no power. Uproot it. Many of us are suffering today because we do not even know the root cause of our problems. Our great-grandfather, maybe the 10th generation, might be a slave trader, and he was selling slaves to the extent that even people who disagreed with him, people who borrowed money from him and could not pay, he can take their children and sell. And some of those people have said some certain things. You sold my child. Your own children will never grow. They will never become anything. Words like that have been spoken. And sometimes they kill people. Anyhow, places where human blood is shed, grasses will not grow very well there. And anyone who goes there to farm will never get any bumper harvest. And anyone who builds a house there can never have any progress. And many of us never knew that anything like this happened. Once they are never uprooted, once they are never challenged, they will get hold of that environment. Many of us have that same problem. At that time, what they were going into was just to protect themselves. They never knew that their children's children will come to inherit it. And it is troubling many of us. And until we know the cause, the root, and uproot everything, the problem remains. But let me tell you one thing. Sometimes it is even difficult to know the history. For me, if you ask for my father's name, I will tell you. If you ask for my grandfather's name, I will manage to tell you the name I had. My great-grandfather, you are going too far. Because I don't know. And for many of us, we don't even know up to 5 from now. So how do we even know what they were doing? So we never cared. And since that is the case, we need to enter into a spiritual warfare. Because once we don't enter into a spiritual warfare, our situation remains like that. Gideon means a fella. He was the one who destroyed Baal and the group beside it, that of Asherah. And yet he saw himself as the smallest in the family. He did not see any greatness in himself. In fact, the angel said, "You man of great valor." There was greatness in Gideon. But Gideon did not see any greatness, rather he saw smallness. There are millionaires here. But you did not see yourself as a millionaire.